All right, so as I was saying, once again, welcome. And I see some of you all did definitely take part. But what I want to get started at this morning is could jump back over here, but I want to make sure we're paying attention to the financial news and understanding what is happening and what's going on. Now, you know what? Let me change audio because you will not be able to hear this if I don't. And I don't want that echo. All right, here we go. Now, what we're going to do is, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play the news because I want to make sure that we're getting, I want to make sure that what you guys are receiving is actually understanding. We always want to check the news. We want to have an understanding of what's going on in the market. Then we'll talk about that for just a moment and then we'll dive in.
Live from the world's capital markets, here are the latest financial headlines brought to you by BYOB Trading Academy.
Hello, and welcome to Monday's Daily Financial Review. Here's what's making headlines in the markets today.
Stress in the banking sector is being closely monitored for its potential to trigger a credit crunch, a US Federal Reserve policymaker said, as a European Central Bank official also flagged a possible tightening in lending. Swiss financial regulator FINMA said it was considering whether to take disciplinary action against Credit Suisse managers after Switzerland's second largest bank had to be rescued last week by UBS. Traders are betting on further increases in the price of gold after it touched a 12-month high past week, as investors predict the US Federal Reserve's cycle of interest rate rises is over and seek safe havens during banking sector turmoil. The dollar-yen price remained largely unchanged in the last session. The Williams indicator indicates an oversold market. The Bitcoin-dollar pair exploded 1% in the last session. The ROC's negative signal contradicts our overall technical analysis. The last session saw the gold fall 0.7% against the dollar. The CCI is giving a negative signal. The last session saw the oil drop 0.4% against the dollar. The ultimate oscillator is giving a positive signal. The US Dallas Fed Manufacturing Business Index will be released at 14:30 GMT. The US 3-month bill auction at 15:30 GMT. Germany's IFO business climate at 0800 hours GMT. Germany's IFO current assessment will be released at 0800 hours GMT. Japan's coincident index at 0500 hours GMT. Japan's leading economic index at 0500 hours GMT.
We hope that you've enjoyed Monday's financial review. On behalf of all of us here, we wish you a productive trading day. Be sure to join us tomorrow morning for the latest news and events from the financial markets.
And that's on me. That definitely is yesterday. But I definitely want to dive in here and let's see, this should be the 28th. Maybe I should have
from the world's capital markets. Here headlines brought to you by BYOB Trading Academy.
Hello, and welcome to Tuesday's Daily Financial Digest.
The dollar rose to a 5-day high against the Japanese yen as authorities' efforts to rein in worries over the global banking system helped soothe investor nerves. Barclays raised its terminal rate forecast for the Bank of England's benchmark policy rate by a quarter point to 4.5%, following the central bank's 11th straight hike last week. European markets rebounded while Asian stocks were mixed at the start of what could be another rocky week for global markets, thanks to lingering uncertainty about the banking sector. The dollar rose 0.5% against the yen in the last trading session. The CCI is giving a positive signal. The Bitcoin-dollar pair plummeted 3.2% in the last session. The ultimate oscillator is giving a positive signal. The gold dropped 0.9% against the dollar in the last session. The MACD is giving a positive signal. The oil-dollar pair exploded 4.6% in the last session. The Williams indicator is giving a positive signal. The US S&P Case-Shiller Home Price Indices will be released at 1300 hours GMT. Italy's business confidence at 0800 hours GMT. The Irish retail sales at 1000 hours GMT. The US consumer confidence will be released at 1400 hours GMT. The US Red Book Index at 1255 GMT. Australia's retail sales at 00 hours and 30 minutes GMT.
We hope that you've enjoyed Tuesday's financial report. On behalf of all of us here, we wish you a productive trading day. Be sure to join us tomorrow morning for the latest news and events from the financial markets.
All right, so good morning once again. And so I wanted you all to really, like, I know it was on me that the reality is that what actually took place is I did not refresh my page and I played yesterday's up front. Nobody dropped it in the chat, but that's okay. That's okay. But I just wanted to make sure that we understand how important, and it's a lot going on right now. And when I say a lot, we're talking about, banks, inflation, Fed rates, all of those sorts of things. So we want to make sure we dive in and we stay up to date on the news and actually what's taking place and what's happening. And so it was very important that I went back and I played that for you all again, right? That was just very important. And so we want to make sure we're doing that. Now, as we kind of scroll down just a little bit, one of the ones that we're following, we could kind of look at, okay, obviously Tesla. We really haven't gotten to the stocks on this call or anything, but you see the Euro USD, those USD pairs and that GBP. And so we're still giving that negative signal. So we're going to go back and finish analyzing that to really get you guys moving on that and understanding how that flows. We'll talk about what happened yesterday, because the point of this call is to help you see the market, monitor the market, be able to trade the market as it moves. So we'll definitely talk about that. If we can talk about some of these other USD pairs, we'll talk about that. Now I am going to write, and then we'll kind of talk about Bitcoin, because I know some of you are trading at crypto. It's giving a positive signal, which is good. Right. And we'll see how it's pulled out of some of that overbought territory. And we haven't really pulled up gold yet, but we will based on time and where we are. I'm just trying to wrap up and get you guys that complete understanding as well. Want to make sure that we're doing that. Now, once again, now that we have the stream going, I do want to let you all know that, yes, BYOB, Be Your Own Bank, we are our own trading academy. So with our own trading academy, we will not be streaming long on Zoom, okay? Every week is subject to change from the call schedules, the call times. And I'm actually just writing down these support and resistance, just to kind of see if there were any changes. But every week, when we talk about, changes and things like that. So be prepared to adjust and follow the Telegram. Make sure you're plugged into the Telegram, because that's where those updates happen. Okay, make sure you're plugged into the Telegram. But what is constant right now is the Monday through Thursday in the mornings at 5:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then, of course, our 9:30 Monday and Tuesday, which is this call. Now tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern. I'm like, what time is it? Tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern, we are going to be having our basics. You want to know how to set up your TradingView account, what we're using. You want to know how to understand the strategy, BYOB cash out. You want to know those sorts of things. You want to make sure that you do join us, okay? And there's a TradingView chart that's right here for you to follow along with me during this call if need be, okay? And of course, we do have our GBP USD that's already on our watch list on our website. Now, let's look at what's going on. Economic calendar, okay? Let's see what's happening with that. Let's see what's going on. So as we look, we want to make sure you see the time is there. So that's already updated. That is on today. And I am going to adjust my impact, not what I want. I'm on the filter. So I'm going to take this off. I like mine by time. I definitely like mine by time. All right. So as I'm looking, what we're looking at, you can see we do have some medium news. We have news, okay? Definitely have quite a bit that's happening. Some already happened. As you can see, the impact that it had on the market. And there are things to come, the Fed bar testimony. So we have things that are going to happen. That's actually in 10 minutes, and we'll see the market react. The bell already rang. That's why we pushed the time of this call back to 9:30 and not 9 o'clock, because I don't trade. We would always say, wait, hold off. But I don't trade at the bell, right? I don't trade at the bell. So it kind of doesn't make sense to do a call during that time frame. So we made that adjustment to make sure that nobody's trading at the bell, because we would have quite a bit of people still dropping the 777s in the chat, people taking profits. So we wanted to make that adjustment because we want you all to be responsible traders. We don't want anybody, we don't want anybody trading just to be trading. Okay. We don't want anybody trading just because. And we want you all doing things responsibly. So we start the call after that takes place. So this is why that time was adjusted to 9:30. So what I also have is my Forex Factory. I'm going to refresh that. As you can see, this is one that must be refreshed. And so what I'm doing is checking more than one news source. So as I'm checking a news source, once again, you can see things that have already taken place in 10 minutes. We do have the speech that's coming out. I told you we have the FOMC, we have interest rates, consumer confidence. These are things that are going to give the market its direction and the things that we are ultimately looking for. All right. And so I already wrote these down. We're going to see if we have the adjustments, and we'll start with the GBP USD. You guys notice that on my watch list, I have a BYOB watch list for what I'm trading. You could your current trades, whatever you're analyzing, but you want to create that watch list so you can kind of keep up where it's marked up. And you know what? I took a picture yesterday and I accidentally, when Zoom was updated, I closed it. I deleted it on accident because I wanted to show you how the market's moving, but that's okay. So you can, your most current, however you do it. I like mine to kind of be together. So I just come down here and I just drag it. And these are the two that we were actively looking at. But as you know, we do have things, right? This one that we were looking at last week, you can kind of see how it played out, where it kind of moved up in there. So I'm not going to reanalyze all of these, but the reason I'm showing you this right now is because I want you all to understand the importance of, watching the market, like following the market, seeing the movement, and it's in the zones that we marked up, right? So like I said, we're not going to go back and redo all of those, but at the same time, I left them on here because this is a newer call. And I want you all to truly understand how these things impact the market, how following these things, that consolidated, that sideways, is still sideways. How, when we do this, you can see, does this help you? Does this make a difference? Is this helping you see the market? Whether you understand it yet or not, is this helping you see the market? Is this helping you see the market? Even our indices, we knew that we had this block off, and this is that area that was marked up, and now it's tempting, but it still needs to come up and break through there. Our Bitcoin, right? When you look at the fact that yes, crypto did drop some, it did. But when I look at what happened, this zone area that it needed to break through, it's rejecting off of that now. So what was a resistance area is now a support. And so that's why it's now giving us, as we looked in the news, it is now giving us a bullish, it's giving us a positive signal. That's why that's happening now. So that's why it's important for us to follow these things along. All right. So let's jump back down here. And I'm on my daily chart. We always start higher. All right. I know we use we analyze higher. We identify market patterns, trends, directions. We always start that higher. We analyze for entry on the 15, and I want to get that terminology in your mind. All right. I know we've grown accustomed to the BYOB cash out strategy, but I want you to grow accustomed to market structure. And BYOB cash out is simply market structure with a twist, and understanding it's market structure in its totality, right? Completely understanding that. And so it just helps you identify, and it brings clarity to that. So I want you to grow accustomed to the mindset of market structure. And so I don't analyze for entry on my higher time frame. That wouldn't be smart. But we do analyze our higher time frame for understanding current market structure, bias, sentiment, direction, what's ultimately happening. And then as I start dropping down my 15-minute chart and those lower time frame charts, that's where we analyze for entry. 5-minute is how you pinpoint, how you fine tune that entry. And that's why I do the side-by-side chart, so you can actually see that. and you know what's happening and what's happening, because all of the activity, the movement that you see, that's where you have to be on those lower time frames. But you never start there. You always start. So I'm just going to highlight this. You notice that what we did yesterday is we kind of marked this up and we drew the lines, and then I put the boxes. But I'm going to come to my settings today, and we're going to look, because I wrote it down. It's the same thing. And so these adjusted. So we have 1 and then we have 2. All right. So these actually made some adjustments. So let's see what I'm going to do first. Now, you know what? I don't know if it is going to, Safari doesn't always act right. I love Apple, but Safari doesn't always act right. So what I did, if you want to know what I just did, is, now I do have a paid account. I do want to make that clear. I'm not advocating anybody get a paid account, but I do have a paid account. So on my TradingView. But what I just did is I came to the camera and I took a snapshot so we could see the difference. And when I took the snapshot, I clicked the button and I wanted to open it in a new tab. And that's what I did. You can copy the link, you can save the chart, you open it in a new tab. I just wanted to open it in a new tab. And now you can see this is where we were previously. So we can actually compare the difference. Okay. So now I'm going to come back over here and make that adjustment. So it's a lot that you can do with this platform. 1, 2, 2, 3, 2. All right, so you notice that it's moved. All right, can you see the difference? Okay, I'm gonna flip back. It's moved. So it was up. You look at that green candle. Okay, it's at the bottom of that green candle. The green candle is in there. Come over here, and so it's adjusted. It's down here. All right, it's down here. And so, well, that's actually, you know what? I did support first. So this one should jump up. This one should jump up. But I want you to see how it's actually moved. All right, it's still below. So now that window that it gave us it tightened it, but it's below. Now, why is that? Our range got tighter, but we're outside of that range. But I want you to understand there's a sentiment in the market right now. And so if you're looking at this, okay, I don't want you to think, oh, it's off, oh, it's wrong. It's not off, it's not wrong, it's not any of that. What would your thought be? What would your thought be as a trader, right? What's your thoughts as a trader? Put it in the chat. Let's see if you're with me. What's your thoughts as a trader? What's your thoughts as a trader? Put it in the chat. What's your thoughts? And just say what's on your mind. I want to know what's your thoughts as a trader. I can see the YouTube and I can see YouTube, LinkedIn, I can see Facebook. So if you're there, you can put it in the chat too. And don't be scared to answer. Ha ha, there you go. Wait, there it is. I got some weights. All right, I have some weights. Right. Why is that? We're right here, there. So basically, this zone was created this morning, right? So let me get off the daily. Okay, I'm gonna come off my daily, come down to my 4-hour. And this zone was, as the market turned around, it's definitely overbought. But as the market turned around, for the day, like the new day or what have you, when I go back to my daily, when, this is what we are, but these zones were created based on, what's happening, right? These zones were created based on the market sentiment, where it was at. So now there's, what would you call it? There is, anticipation, right? We're 1 minute from this news, so there's some anticipation. There is some anxiety. There is some, whatever it is people feel that's waiting on this speech, that's waiting on this conversation, that's waiting on this to happen, there's something that's going on to get the overall, like this is going to create some sort of direction in the market. And so when you start seeing things that kind of pull outside of the zones and pull outside of the areas and pull outside of that, or, you know, spikes in the market and those sorts of things, when you start seeing that, you know, let the market settle. Let the market settle. Let it settle. So let's see what's going on. Here we are. So today is going to be more of like a lesson. I'm going to be honest with you. So let's drop down here where we are. You know, yesterday what we did is we did put that trend line on here, one based on the candles, and then of course based on the wicks. So all I'm doing is extending it. And I did that intentionally because you guys get so caught up on, oh my gosh, where do I put the trend line? So I did that intentionally for you guys to see. It's about helping you see what's happening in the market and not for you to get so caught up on if I drew my line perfectly. Okay, it's for you to really get an idea of what's happening and for you to see what's happening in the market. So here we go. It's now 10 o'clock. And let's see, did anything, look at how it's pulling. Let's look at what happened. Is anything happening with, you know, that's that new candle. And you can see that movement. If I drop down, you can see initial market reaction, right? And so that's pretty much, you know, we don't want to be caught in that. So let's jump back up here. We can kind of see where we are once again. And you can see this is a new hour candle and you can see what's happening in the market. And, you know, it's just, I mean, look at this zone. We already talked about this yesterday, but look at this, where we are, right? Look at where we are. If I come back up, you can kind of see where we are. We still have room and opportunity to pull up to here, respecting this higher time frame trend line before we begin to pull down. Any questions and comments or testimonies so far? Any questions, comments, or testimonies? Remember where we were, right? Remember where we started from? Well, we on our higher time frame. So why am I jumping back up? Let me back up just a minute. Regardless of what's happening in the market, as far as the news, like obviously this can, if it's great, it can spike it right through there. You know, if it creates such a shift and a change. But what you're seeing is on my higher time frame, you're starting to see a wave pattern begin, which is what we identified. So on my monthly, you see I have a trend line, okay? On my monthly. On my weekly, you're starting to see that reaction. So this is once a week where that happens. So obviously, I'm gonna make this one thicker because I want you to understand the significance that this trend line does have, right? This trend line does have it. You know, it definitely has that there. Now, kind of my daily, okay? When I come down to my daily, you see us still respecting that zone. And that's kind of what you see happening right here, okay? That's what you see. And even if I come in here and I pull it from here, all right? You can see, is it not starting to create some sort of pattern? And you can see all the activity that's in here where the market would kind of come react some. So those are those zones that was created by our support and resistance off of our trading signal, off of the page. But now you can see how the market is reacting to that zone. And even if it pulls up some, what would you think is going to happen? Based on the analysis and what we've been walking through. So one of you all put it in the chat. Let me know what you guys think will happen. Let me see if you're with me. What do you think will happen? What do you think will happen? It will reject, right? It will reject. Okay, so it will. So because this is significant, I don't need this one is thick. Is this making sense? Because I don't want, it might break to here, but it's not breaking through here without quite a bit of momentum, right? If my monthly is creating an Elliott wave, I want you to look at this, okay? look what happens on my monthly, okay? When I look at, let's go back a little bit. All right. If I look at, obviously, I don't want to be way over there because it's a monthly and when I scan that out. So let's come look over here a little bit. I'm on my monthly, okay? I'm going to change colors because I just want to make sure we understand, you know, what that was. So that's my monthly, all right? This is where we were on a month. As we drop down to the week, I want you to see, I want you to understand, I'm doing this because I want you to understand just how important my higher time frame is. Let me clone this and give you the channel. Now I know it came way up here, but I want you to see how it's reacting. Can you see that, right? Now, okay. Now what happened is this pattern that takes place is it pulls up, it breaks through, it retests. So when it stops, you notice that it stopped making those higher highs. It kind of got level right here. So it stopped making those higher highs, right? We had a nice, it started the pattern. I have a higher high, this kind of, but you know, I started making those. You start seeing it a little bit clearer on my daily, okay? You can see those higher highs as it made higher highs as it moved forward. This was some consolidation, but it was still in the upward direction. It was still positive, long, right? It was still moving up. So that's what happened here, all right? So higher, 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 higher. Now, it lost momentum and then it finally broke, but it still retested. And this is where you guys have to identify where it's at. And when I look at what's happening over here, okay, on my daily, what's happening here? So what is this creating? Lower highs, okay? And I got lower lows. And you can see we kind of dropped, but then it came back up. But it's respecting that trend line from a higher time frame. So there has to be, even though we have quite a bit happening in the market, you know, interest rates, the banks, you know, the assets being bought, so consumer confidence, all of these things, in order for it to break it, it's going to have to be significant. You know, it's going to have to, and then of course it'll break it, it'll retest it and pull back up. So even if it pulls up, I don't want anybody taking a trade and I don't see it buying, you know, I'll say that. Now, I'm not saying, oh, it's definitely going to sell, because I want you guys to respect the market and analyze the market. But if it does break this, you still need to wait on that higher time frame retest, or it could just be simply, you know, a liquidity grab, right? Got it? Does that make sense? Does that bring you some clarity? Hopefully it does. Hopefully. All right, awesome. So now what we are, all right, now you just have to wait on the movement of the market. Like, let's go back to the purple. As I began dropping time frames, you know, that's why I said I didn't want to do way too much, because if I went way over there, we're going to have to dig for the purple. But you can see all the momentum that begins to happen inside of there. But of course, what you analyze and what you start seeing is we have trends inside of, you know, and that's what I meant. You see how this one still pulled outside of that a little bit before it wasn't a true break till it retested. So you start having trends and channels inside of the other patterns. So it's always a pattern inside of the pattern, but you notice how these patterns respect my higher time frame patterns. My lower time frame patterns respect my higher time frame patterns. You know, they're operating within the boundaries created of my higher time frame. So they're not operating outside of my higher time frame. You get it? And like, even when this happened, it broke, it retested, and then moved. Look what it created. It created another trend. It created another, another channel. It created, so you have patterns inside of your patterns. But my lower time frame patterns, even though I'm on a 4 hour, it's still a lower time frame pattern, and it's respecting my higher time frame. Got it? So that's what I'm trying to show you this morning. So because we don't have a lot of activity. So here I am. Let's get back over here. Where we supposed to be. Now, where we are is I'm expecting that sell. All right. I'm expecting that sell. Now, what you're seeing is the market. That's why I'm expecting it. So that's what I'm seeing. That's why I'm expecting it. Now, I needed to respect this. If it does push up and go past this, then fantastic. But we are overbought on my 4 hour. I'm overbought on my daily. I'm almost overbought on my weekly. Okay. And we're at the beginning of the week and I'm almost overbought. So even it might pull up a little bit and touch it. It just might. But guess what? I'm definitely not expecting, I'm not expecting it. And this is a nice little bit of money right here. Like, I'm not trying to shortchange you at all, it's 50 pips in there. So, but and it's still in the upward. It hasn't broken it. It hasn't started, but I'm just telling you what I'm expecting and why. Questions, comments, testimonies. Questions, comments, testimonies. So let's see, 1.219 is what I have marked up. So I'm gonna make these adjust. Actually, I'm gonna delete these because you guys see what happened. I don't want to keep too much on a chart that we don't need. All right. So let's make this adjustment. And do we want those? Let's make these yellow. And we really don't need this one. These are my traditional candles. These are my traditional candles. That's what these are. Now, when I get ready to take the trade, you see me switch back to the Hikinashi candles. But right now, I'm analyzing market structure. I'm not entering the trade. So I'm just showing you market structure right now. So it really doesn't matter which ones you have on there. I mean, I can have my Hikinashis as well. So I'm not entering a trade at this moment. So when I get ready, I'm going to show you that in just a minute, though. So let me change this to 1 point. So I'm going to kind of give you some targets that I have marked up already. 219. So when you kind of look at some of the targets, why would this be a target? Let's come on up a little bit. Why would this be a target? Do you see why that would be a target? Right. It's already come down. So it's already right there. So that would be a target. If I'm looking from a higher time frame, right? So, and right down up in here, you would have a target down there if it broke it. As you can see how this made a high, that made a high that we talked about. What happened? Did I create a higher high? Let's talk about the momentum that's happening right now. Did this create a higher high? Did we create a higher high? Not at all. So what do you believe is starting to happen? Now the market can pull back, then pull up and make a high. But what does it appear that it's doing? It appears that it's losing momentum, right? Because if I look at what was happening before, so we already know where we are, right? Not consolidated. We already know where we are, right? We already know where we are. Higher time frame, monthly, higher. We've created this. Let's just leave it as thick as possible because I want you to understand the importance. We really want you to understand the importance of my higher time frame. So I made that one as thick as possible. It's bolder. I want you to understand the importance of my higher time frame over the ones on my lower time frame. But the 4 hour is still a higher time frame, but it's not as high as the monthly. So you want to respect those zones that's taking place. My daily is as high, but you want to respect those zones that's taking place. You want to respect those zones. So, right, we got to respect those zones. So now that I'm here, okay, you can see that we had a nice, right? We started creating those higher highs, right? I promise you, trend line, support and resistance, understanding your Elliott waves, understanding how this market is flowing is going to help you. So you can see, right, this is a high. It created a higher high, created a high, created a high. You know, you got those lows that take place, those lows that take place, but there's still higher lows. And what happened is now I'm losing momentum. So it doesn't necessarily have to touch that trend line. It can, but it doesn't necessarily have to. So now I'm starting to lose momentum. All right. Do you see that? I'm starting to lose momentum. Starting to lose momentum. So in that, so if I come back over here and I start looking at targets, now I'm looking at this one from a higher time frame. I'll thicken this one up a little bit. And we'll put some on here from, I need 2 monitors. That's what I need. I need 2 monitors. So as I look, you know, we look at the zone. So obviously we needed to kind of get back down in between there. If it pulls up, then that will be our first target. So if it pulls up some, you know, it can, 3, 2, you know, when we look at it, I want to put this on here. All right. So if it pulls up, okay, if it pulls up to here, so remember I said there's still room that it could pull up. It has not created another high in this zone, okay? It will not have created another high in this zone. So if it pulls up to here, when it pulls back, this will be our first target, all right? Then it's out just a little bit because I don't want you to understand. I want you to understand the difference in these, okay? These are our zones from here, from our signal. You know, what the market created, the highs and lows, the floor the market created and identified. Obviously, we're a little bit beyond that. You look right here. If I stay in this zone area right here, this is marked up because the reality is I will not have created, even if it comes up and touches here, I will not have created another high. I did not bypass this high. All right. Now, I don't have a true shift. Like, so let me get, it might spin a little. Why do I always get a little? I do not want emojis. What happened to the little heart that was there? That is so funny, that emojis. I don't want emojis. Right? I don't. All right. So now I'll take a little smiley face emoji when I'm trading, and it's like, yes. So if I come up here, all right. And if I come up here, where's my thing at? I did, I thought. Go back and click the heart. No, I don't want the heart. I want the other stuff. I figured out off of here because on my other computer, on my laptop, I have the app. So on my laptop, I actually have the app. And on the app, it kind of, you know, so then when I switch to the desktop, that's why y'all always see me doing all this. So, but thank you. And so that's why I'm always clicking, because there is an app you can download and have it on your computer. So right here where it pulls up, okay, where it pulls up, you can see that it can possibly come here. But if it's here, then I create a higher high, right? And then I pull down some. And if I pull down, I expect, because I expect a pullback, and you would expect all of this before, right? It goes anywhere else. So it can pull up, some it might not. It might just do this. You know, it might kind of start just doing this based on what's happening. But if it does, what I'm trying to get you guys to understand, I don't need this one, is the reality is this zone right here, this is that last high before this one. So this is important. This is that last high before this one. So this is important. This is important. It has to break that before we understand we have a change in direction. So even though we're respecting here, it has to change here before we understand we have a change in direction. You with me? And of course, it will pull back, it will retest, and then it'll begin pulling down. And then of course, the next area that I kind of have, let me put that on there. 1 to 2. And then when we start actually pulling harmonic patterns and pulling all of that stuff, and, that'll kind of, help you understand how those things work as well. So you notice that you have a target here, and I just put target. Oops, I said text. All right, so you have a target here. All right, I'm gonna clone it, and we're gonna. Do you guys understand how important it is, the big picture of the market, and why there's no such things as 10 pips and cash out the wealth? There's no such thing as that. There's no such thing as, because if you don't understand it, you guys, I can't tell you how many trades y'all would have actually took since we started these calls, how many trades you would actually have taken. And if somebody is not willing to shift that mindset and you think you're going to scalp your way to wealth, without understanding the market, how it flows, how it works, you are sadly mistaken. That's just like the people that's working at McDonald's thinking that they're going to $15 themselves to wealth, that they deserve. I'm not saying people don't deserve a living wage. They do. But that it's the belief that you'll get it there. It's the belief. It's a warped mentality. And I mean, I just saw an ad yesterday. The reason I even said McDonald's is because they built, I think it's in Denver. I want to say it's in Denver. Don't quote me on the city, but there is actually a whole McDonald's that was built with no employees. It's a drive-through and it's a takeaway. Or walk up, put the order in, drops it in the bag. It's all machines. It's absolutely no employees. It's 100% virtual. And I hope the food is fresh, but I'm sure, because you already know they got kiosks in the thing, but I don't really frequent McDonald's. So, but I saw some kiosks and things in there. So, but I'm just letting you know, it's that same warped mentality that it's not that you don't work hard. It's not that you don't deserve a living wage. It's the belief that you can get it there. So you get a check, but you won't ever get wealthy there unless you own it yourself. And so it's that belief that, you'll cash out, you'll get some pips, you'll profit a little, but it's the belief that you'll have a wealth there. It's not going to happen. You have to understand this market. You have to. And that's it. Like, you have to. Okay. And so when I look here, this is that target, because when I look right here, okay, when I look here, what happens is I broke that last high. So that's why we have that target in that area. And then, of course, where is this one? In that same zone right there. So you notice that this is what I'm looking for it to happen. And if I'm on my higher time frame right now, what I'm going to do is a side by side, okay? And I'm going to pull up my GBP USD. And this is why I didn't think we get, because I wanted to take some time this morning to, kind of walk you guys through. And now, this is where you guys come hang out at. Let me switch this one to my Hikanashi, because this is where you guys start analyzing for entry, what you're doing at 5:30 in the morning, when you're seeing that. So if I come here, and what I'm going to do is, I am actually, let me put a box around there so you can see where it is here. And so this is where your scalps are. Okay. Or this is where your zone to zone or your scalps are. So if I put this box right here, all right, let's just say you started and you took this trade or you did that. Look at what candle you're in. All right. Look at what candle you're working with. Maybe I need to thin this out so you can see it on a higher time frame. But look at what candle you're in over here. Look how that candle looks on my 4 hour. So even though it looks like you had great opportunity, 32 pips, if I come over here and I drop down to my hour, all right, technically you had confluence, right? So I had my BYOB cash out strategy. I had my blue line cross over the red and an upward momentum, so this is where these trades take place. Okay. This is where, this is where I'm gonna leave a unicorn. We're gonna leave this. We're gonna let them be great. But this is where, these trades take place. This is where that happens. So you see, right, blue line cross over the red and an upward momentum. I got a green candle with a flat bottom, piece or flip. So based on your trading style, if you're scalping, right? If you are intraday, you looking for the 10 pips. Do you understand now how I understand the market structure? So I know where I'm at, but I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna grab 10 pips, I'm gonna grab, some profit. I'm trading with the current trend of the market. I'm with the current trend of the market. But my concern is it doesn't always push out. Yes, we have everything we need, but you need to understand where you are. And my concern is always, like, if you let me ask you this before I do it that way. We know it did not create a higher high, right? We know that a higher high was not created. Are you intrigued to take that trade? Yes or no? What I'm trying to do is increase your personal accuracy rate, because we know that it is playing out. We see it playing out. We see that it's a historical trade we're analyzing right now, but we see that it did take 10 pips, right? We see we would have got 20 pips. We would have been okay. But understanding this, was it worth the risk? Was it worth the risk? Right? That's all. So yes, you might have taken this, you could take this, and if you do take it, like, I don't know what trades you guys analyze, I don't know, but you would take it if you would trade. Like, I'm a skilled trader. Like, I've done this, and I'm speaking this to you on your own. So I'm a skilled trader. I understand it. I got it. So if I was doing this and I said, hey, hey, let's take this trade, let's grab a few pips, then let's do it. If you're on a call in the morning and Ms. Graham say, hey, guess what? Let's take this trade, let's grab a few pips, then do it, because she's already analyzed this. She understands what we are. I would have already done that. But, she pulling up the support and resistance. But if you are still learning, I highly recommend you begin focusing on these higher time frames as well. Understanding what we are, knowing how close we are to this, understanding I'm looking for the sell. And so, that first, you see, like, when you come here, now, obviously I'm not taking it, because I'm more of an intraday to a swing trader. I kind of like to let mine sit, but it's personal. So if you're a scalper, you just like to be in and out of the market, you would have taken that. I know you would have taken it, and it's okay. You would have taken it. It's fine, right? Great, fantastic. You would have done it. Now, when you come here, like, I'm still not taking them until I pass that trend. I get to that trend line. Like, you can kind of see, let me bring this up just a little bit more. You can kind of see, I wanted to break this before I start doing anything, when it starts talking about that. And then, of course, those zones and things like that we've already identified. Questions, comments, testimonies. We didn't really get to the other things this morning, but that's okay, because hopefully you have a little bit more understanding. Questions, comments, testimonies. Questions, comments, testimonies. Nope, none, nope. Let me go back and check this other chat real quick. Oh, awesome. It's helping you be more patient and disciplined. I love it. I love it. I like it. I love it. I like it. I love it. Yeah, and that's the thing, right? When you realize that you don't have to have 100, like, I'm not taking 100 trades a day. Like, I don't trade every day. I'm gonna just be transparent. I don't take a trade every day, but I will take them. But because I like my trades to look like trades. And it's okay not to take a trade every day. Or take one trade. It's okay to take one trade. You got to get past a gambler's mindset, right? You have to get past that whole gambler's mindset. And this is the thing about Safari, right? I was trying to get Chrome open, but I don't know. All my stuff was updating this morning. You can click here. Oh my goodness, it worked. I'm shocked. So it has not been working on Safari. That's the crazy part. So, can you see it? Well, it's a skill set, and that's why we have levels to the classes. That's why we have different levels to the classes. So it's in shifted thinking. It's not a lot to absorb. It's just different. Think about this, for example. I'm helping my daughter with her homework. Now, let me ask you guys, where in the world, what in the world, when did you learn perimeter? When did you guys learn perimeter? Perimeter, area, perimeter, all of those things in math. When did you learn that? You learned that in elementary school? I don't remember being in elementary school. Non-overlapped and rectangles and all this other stuff. I do not remember being, I think my older kids were in at least 6th grade, I don't remember. Maybe you was in an advanced school. Like, I don't know. But she's learning. No, they're not doing the very basics. They not doing the basics. Because I have to get on Google to help her. It's not the base. And I'm just glad she don't need a lot of help. I'll put it like that. Because we be in trouble. But so those are they're doing a lot of things. They're book reports turned in cursive and writing papers in the 3rd grade, like not little, doing references and all that stuff. So that's the stuff they're doing. We didn't do that stuff. We were like, you got a introduction, a conclusion, and a body, right? That's what I remember from elementary school. If that, we think we was doing timetables and stuff like that. They already doing they doing algebra. Okay, they do algebra too. So, no. It's definitely not a complaint. But the point I'm making is, I'm making a point with it. So I don't take it as a complaint. But we always thought that, there was only so much that we could comprehend, or we'll put limitations, or it's all about how you see it. We'll put limitations, or we'll say, oh, it's a lot, or it's this, or it's that, right? So we'll put those things on ourselves. We'll do that. But that's not always the case. Like, it's not always what it is. It's how we see it. So if we view it as a lot, and the point I'm getting at is, we look at these little kids that can operate a tablet, and we're like, oh, they're smarter than us. I don't think that they're just quote unquote smarter than us. I just think they have the access and capabilities to more. Like, they have access to more. They're able to see more. Like, I think we would have been that smart too had somebody had the technology or put it in our face as well. Had we had access to the things that they do. So I think that is how we view things or how we see things, because they don't have an issue learning it. They don't, like, I look at them like, oh my goodness, 3rd grade. But she's like, what's wrong with the 3rd grade? She's like, and then she asked me, my child had the nerve to ask me, you didn't understand it in the 3rd grade? No, it's not that I didn't understand it. They didn't teach it to us. So because they thought that we were doing it. And that's what I mean. So that's the point I'm getting at. Like, you're stretching, it's mental. And so we come from, and I come from it too, because I had to learn this skill set as well. We all come from where this is not something we were accustomed to. It wasn't around, when we were little. It wasn't around when we were doing these things, and I see the 2-year-old grandbaby exactly. And mine is a B5 this weekend, and she's adding and subtracting and, doing all of these things. It's like they're already able to do these things. And I think when we went to school, it was, do you even know your ABCs? But now they're on phonics, and things like that. So sight words and stuff before kindergarten. So my point is, and all of this to being said, is if we look at this and say, you know what, I need to learn this. I got this, because I started too, 10 pips, grab this. And we started on a platform, that thank God for it at the time, thank God for it. But the reality is it was a lot of focus on tools and not education. It was a lot of focus on tools and not education. And our focus is your education. Our focus is ensuring that you are properly educated. I'm not trying to make you reliant on a tool. I want you to understand the market. And that's what we're walking you through. Like, how do you understand the market? How do you navigate through the market to where you can pull up this trading view? Like, you want to set an alert. We'll get into setting alerts. We'll get into all of these things to where, so you don't have to sit and watch the charts all day. Set an alert. So when the price hits that point, you get the trigger and ta-da, then ultimately have an alert. And the reason I say Safari, because Safari is hit or miss. I just recommend get on Chrome and call it, because it would not open for me at all yesterday. So that's why I was shocked it opened. But set alerts, get on there, kind of play with it. But those are the things that you'll be learning in our basics course once we transition to our academy. Like those are the things that you're going to be learning in those basics courses and things, really how to understand TradingView, really, how to maximize the benefit behind it, the brokers, you got your paper trading account on here, which is a demo account. It's not with your broker, but you can attach your broker's demo account and you can begin trading on here as well. So there are so many things that are available. There are so many things that are available for you through here to be able to trade on here, to be able to connect, like, the different brokers. I think because I just added this one, but to kind of connect those brokers, those sorts of things, to where you can maximize your resources and really kind of take advantage of it. Look at this. So I'm staying away right now. I'm waiting. I'm probably, depending on what this does, I would set an alert. I would set a couple of alerts to kind of come back and check it, see where it's at, and ta-da, and that's when I would take some trades. When it's clear what it's doing. And we didn't even get to this one. So when it's clear what it's doing, I want you to still watch your Bitcoin if you're trading that. I know we're about to close this call, but still watch your Bitcoin if you're trading that. As you can see, it has broken that last one, and it looked like it just needs to break through that one. Our indices moving kind of sideways. It needs to break that before I would take a buy or do anything. It might hang out in here for a while. So just to kind of recap, but we'll come back to all of those. I want you guys, your assignment this week to increase your education and your knowledge is to follow this. All right. I want you to follow this. Take your screenshots. Actually, take your screenshots, there you go. I'm grateful. Where else could we get this education for this cost? Absolutely. And that's what we wanted to do too. So when we sat down and we looked at it, we were not trying to outprice people. We were just trying to make it affordable, cost effective, with great value is what we wanted to, be able to provide. And that's ultimately our heartbeat, and why it's at the price point that it is, why it's what it is. Because could we charge more? Absolutely. We don't want to. We want to be able to make this where it is definitely affordable, and you guys get great value in education and the interim and in the process. So, but with that being said, before we close out, I want to make sure that you guys do take advantage of, and I'm clicking everywhere but where I want to be, take advantage of our webinar, become an affiliate, go make sure you're registered, bring your +1, +2, +3. So make sure you invite. We do have a 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time webinar this evening. You want to make sure that you take advantage of that. You want to understand the benefit of the affiliate program and what's offered, the funding and the Trading Academy. Do not forget, it's actually both of them. You want to make sure, it's right there, earn up to $50 commission for every successful referral. So you want to make sure you understand exactly how to take advantage of our referral program, our affiliate program. And then there's a there's a monthly benefit to that as well for those that have enrolled. So take advantage of that. But also, before I turn this over to Ms. Reed to close us out, I know many of you heard about the school shooting that took place yesterday. It's very sad. It's very sad. It's heartbreaking, actually. And I just just take a moment and, on top of the prayers and on top of everything, check the security at your kid's school. You can't prevent everything, but like my granddaughter is going to school, and I know I called my daughter, sending her to a private school. Deja, my daughter, it's not an actual private school, but it's not just a regular public school like the neighborhood school, but it's what she wants to be. But she's going to a private Christian school. My granddaughter will be. And my first question to her is, what is their security? Like, I want to come see, what security do they have? It's ridiculous, but it's heartbreaking. And for somebody to be in a mental place to take the lives of children. And I just recall because, over the summer, the last week of school, they couldn't even bring book bags because they couldn't bring book bags to school because it was a school shooting last year. And, but over the summer, they increased the security, like it's the bars, the program, like everything they have. And I'm very grateful for what they've done to protect these children. I'm just very grateful for that. So, but I'm just challenging, I just want to say a prayer, the heartbreak, these families, what they're going through in this nation. So it's just, I'm bothered by it, if you can't tell. But yeah, Miss Reed, I'm gonna turn this over now because I keep talking about it.
Okay. Thanks so much this morning. And it's just proof that you have a heart of gold and that you're concerned about everything and everybody. And we so appreciate you for it. Let's pray. God, our Heavenly Father, we acknowledge that we see you high and lifted up, and we see your train filling the temple, and we join the angels and all of heaven crying, holy, 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 holy. You said, be ye holy, for I am holy. And God, we know that in spite of what we see going on around us in this broken world, God, you're yet a sovereign God and you're in control. And we commit our children and parents to you now and ask that you will cover them each with your blood, with your love, and with your presence. And speaking of presence, God, we welcome your presence, for in your presence is fullness of joy, and at your right hand pleasures forevermore. And we're so thankful, so grateful, so appreciative and grateful for your good hand is good upon our founder, Mr. Gerald Rogers, and our co-founder, Miss Tasha Dyer. God, as well as each of our educators, you're blessing every member of this great movement. Keep us constant in your care. And we thank you so much for using us to turn this world upside right, God. Thank you so much for the spirit of prayer and praise and for taking us to the right side of money so that we can make a difference in where our children go to school and how things are managed in our school systems. Oh, we declare that we are 2 million strong, and God, we're faithfully taking responsibility for rapid growth. In Jesus' name we praise you. Amen and thank God. And let's go our way knowing that God is great and he is sovereign. God bless. Have a wonderful day.